inside, better not do it. What a dummy.
Hey, how you guys doing today? It is the Incharacter series here with Adrian and Kevin, or Kevin and Adrian, however you want to call us. So we had a good time last time. I'm glad that we did do that. And what we want to talk about today about character is responsibility. Everyone thinks they know what responsibility is until it's time for them to be responsible, correct?
Correct. That's true.
So we're going to talk a little bit about responsibility and how responsibility really develops your character and it enhances the character of those around you.
It really does.
Yeah. When people know that you're a responsible person, they call on you, don't they?
Always.
Oh man, they can depend on you, don't they? No one wants people around that they cannot depend on. Is that correct, babe?
Yes.
Yes, there she goes.
I didn't think
Yes.
about that.
I had to think about it. So we'll begin with a brief definition of responsibility. Responsibility is knowing and doing what is expected of me. Not of you,
Not of you.
but of me. Yeah. So that's what you have to do. You have to know what's expected of you and then do those things.
Just like on a job, right?
Definitely on a job, that's where we're gonna go. Because on a job, when you sign that contract, that agreement, because everyone does. When you do your W-2s, that's signing a contract, correct?
Right.
When you say I will show up to work, they give you a job description. They let you know what the job is about. They have you read the
Job description.
formats and job descriptions, and you agree and say that you can do these things, correct?
Correct.
And so as you agree and say you can do these things, you sign on them, and they give you a start date and everything with the expectation that you're going to come and do exactly what you said and profess that you could do
Right.
to the best of your abilities. Correct?
That's responsibility.
That's responsibility. Now, what happens with some people is that they forget they signed a contract, don't they?
A contract on the job or
On
in
the
a
job,
marriage or
well, all of that. But let's just look at the job instance
for life.
for right now, because on the job thing, some people get in the job and they believe it's not what they thought it should be.
Right.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the employer believes that they hired somebody a certain way, and they find out that employee is not what they believe they hired. They want to be, it's funny because I work in management, but I have some employees that it's clear that they want to be free. They don't want to work for the company. They want
free.
They want to be free. So I'm eager to set them free to do whatever their heart desires.
Set them free.
Set them free.
Set them free.
Definitely.
Set them free.
Because they act like they are special agents. You know, everyone has their duty, and then they want to do their own thing. So they don't really want to work for us. They want to work somewhere else doing their own thing. And I tell them, I want to set you free. So you can do
You tell them that?
I tell them that. Everybody I've ever had I didn't let them go. I set them free.
Okay.
I just set them free.
That's a better way
You
of saying
want to
it.
you obviously want to be somewhere else because you're not on time.
Oh.
You're not proficient in your work duties.
Okay.
You seem agitated when I ask of things from you that I shouldn't have to ask of you.
That is part of their responsibility.
Definitely.
Okay.
It's what I expect of them.
Right. Okay.
That they signed and said that they can agree to do.
Okay.
Because they said they're very proficient in it.
Okay.
So I let them know, obviously you want to be somewhere else. If I'm incorrect, you got a
Let me
week
know.
to show me. Or just tell me, be frank with me. I'm open. It's 2021. I'm open. I will let you do whatever
You know
want
what?
to do. Yes.
On that note, I can remember a time when I got a job
Mhm.
and it turned out to be the worst job
No
I've
way.
ever had. Yes, wait, stop it.
Really?
You know.
No.
Anyway, this
Okay.
job was so disturbing to me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to let you know, it was selling water.
Oh, I
It was
remember.
when water first became popular. And
A
I
big
said,
water company.
I cannot
the
believe
biggest.
people are calling me complaining about water. I just couldn't understand it because we used to just get water out of the faucet. Now
Right.
everybody's getting water out of a
Bottle.
bottle. So I could not stand that job. And then somebody told me, learn to love what you hate.
Yes.
And even though I was responsible on the job, I did not like the job, and it showed.
Oh wow, yeah.
So they told me if you learn to love what you hate, it'll make the job much easier and much smoother. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try that. I tried it for like a week. And they were right.
It worked out.
I started to.
You were nicer on the phone. I was nicer on the phone.
Okay. I kind of understood what the people were talking about.
Because you're paying attention
water.
now. Okay.
I started to pay attention.
All right.
And I started to enjoy the job. But then they set me free.
They set you free.
They set me free, which was a good thing because
you can only do it so long, right?
I wanted to be set free.
Certainly.
I wanted to so bad. But I learned a good lesson.
A very good lesson. I'm glad you learned that. So let's look at this. That's funny. It's really funny to me. So being responsible also is about keeping your promises. All right. A lot of people want to promise. A lot of people don't want to keep promises.
Yeah, I know that's
true. A lot of people
true.
want to promise, but a lot of people don't want to keep promises. So you want to keep your promises. You don't want to create excuses. Because if you don't keep your promise, then what you're doing is creating an excuse to validate you not keeping your promise.
And that's a lie too, right?
You know, I think that is what they call that. Yeah, that's what they call that. At least that's what they used to call it.
If you don't keep your promise,
you're a liar.
You're a liar.
Okay. Not lying, but liar. Right, okay.
Just like you promised me to put up my mirror.
I sure did.
3 days ago.
You keep saying 3 days.
And,
it was just yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. Did you do it yesterday?
I agreed to do it. Yesterday, listen to me. Very good. Yesterday, I agreed to do it. I did it this morning.
So you did what? You told me a lie.
I didn't keep my promises. What I did.
Keep his promise.
I didn't, and I didn't make an excuse. I didn't say, "Oh, I did this instead," or "I did that instead."
Like you normally do sometimes.
Like I've done before.
But he's getting a lot better.
Like I've done before. Other things I'm much more responsible of, but with that, I just did not do it when I said I would do it. So I did not keep my promise. And keeping your promise is very important because your value is rated on how well you're able to keep your promises to yourself as well as to others.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Because if you begin to start breaking promises with others, eventually you'll begin to break promises to yourself, and you don't complete the task that you set for yourself,
yes, or
the task that you set for others. That's why when you're perhaps let's mention the work thing again. That's why when you're at work, it's easy for you not to complete your task or your duties in that time period.
Correct.
You're always finishing just before or just after, or you're a day late and all of that.
Or it rolls over to the next day. Next day becomes another day or week.
And it can become somebody else's task. And that's not good.
Right.
And on that note, let me give you this. Responsibility is also about knowing your roles, okay? So some people do their roles so well, they don't allow others to participate and do their roles.
Correct.
I had to learn that the hard way myself.
Yes.
When I was you don't even know where I'm going, sweetie. I was an employee once, and I was moved to a supervisor role. So what I was doing in the beginning, I was still doing my employee roles and learning and doing my supervisor roles. And I didn't know how to separate the two because to me, it was just all work.
Right.
And so my employer suggested to me that I pull back some to let my other employees do their work. I'm doing their work as well as my work.
Right.
And I didn't think nothing of it because brother I like to get it done, period. So I can do something else.
Right, right.
But I wasn't holding them responsible for what they said that they had to do.
Or their job description.
Their job description, the promise that they made to the company and so forth. And it started to show, thank you. It started to show because when I was not there,
they couldn't get the job done.
Stuff was not getting complete. And they said, why? Well, Kevin's not here. Well, Kevin has to do everything? Right. You guys can't do it without Kevin? And so the cool thing was when I learned that role of holding others responsible for what their duties are or what their roles are, as well as knowing my role of responsibility, it made me much more valuable than I realized I actually was. And so in that note, when I wasn't there, my employer suggested that they give me a greater role because they realized not only can I handle the work pace or the workload, but I had learned to manage my people correctly.
Right.
And they realized there was more to me than what I had previously showed them or what they previously expected.
That's good. I want to get on another note. What about the role of a husband and the responsibilities that he holds regarding his wife?
Is that specific? Because that seems very, very broad.
Well,
but a husband.
let me give you an example.
Okay.
Okay. I can ask you a question about something I want you to do.
Okay.
And then I expect, as my husband, to do that thing that I ask at that particular moment. And sometimes you may say, I'll get to it.
I would definitely say I get to it.
Wait, exactly. And we're going somewhere.
Come on.
And then you will go out and do something for someone else. They may, because he's very, very good at what he does. He's very responsible to a lot of people. But sometimes he does forget about me when I ask him to do things. So being responsible to your family opposed to other people first.
That's back to knowing the roles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I ask you to do something, you say, I get to it. And then someone will call you and it's like, okay, I'll come now and go do it.
I have done that before.
You've done it quite often.
I have done that before.
So what?
I haven't done that lately, but I have done that before.
You just shared that you did that with the mirror.
That's different.
Okay.
Because that wasn't for, I did not do something for you and then do something for someone else. I just didn't do it
because I stopped
the same day.
Yeah. I made sure you didn't do something for someone else.
Actually, that's okay. If you want to go there.
Yes.
All right. So what she's talking about is
responsibility to your family.
Excuse me.
As a husband.
No. You're talking about knowing the expectation that someone has for you, and knowing the expectation that you've agreed upon to meet.
Okay.
All right. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. So when you know that expectation, it is up to you and no one else to make sure that that expectation is met. And what my wife shared is correct. Being in the counseling field, so you're called upon like to solve problems. I solve problems for a living. That's what I do is I solve problems, and
sometimes this can cause problems in the marriage. Just a side note,
or other relationships, because your focus is not everywhere it should be. Even though that is very important, there are some other things that are just as important, or if not more important, that you need to spend time on also.
Right.
And so what I was mentioning before with the employer of learning how to go from employee to supervisor, right? And knowing the difference between the roles, because I was doing both and I didn't need to do one of them. I needed to do the new one.
Right.
We have to also know how to manage our time. And in managing our time,
that's a big one.
We need to prioritize what needs my attention
first.
No, just hold on a second. What needs my attention? Because everything doesn't need my attention.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Right.
There were situations, since you brought it up, that I've gone to that I didn't need to go to. I could have just sent a phone call. I could have just...
easily.
Hold on. I could have just wrote a letter. I could have... But again, knowing you have to know how to weigh and judge each matter accordingly. So once I learned how to manage the priorities, each one has a section for its own priority.
Right.
Once I learned how to manage those priorities, I got much better at taking care of each priority individually. Okay. And so with that, I became again more valuable in these other roles that I had because like most people, have various roles.
Right.
Various roles. Parent, father, husband, brother, friend, guardian, boss, whatever it is, right? We're not just one person.
Correct.
We're several people. And like we mentioned in the last video, we want to get to not the person that you think you are, not the person that others think you are, but the person that you really are. Because the person that you really are needs to come forth. And the only way they can come forth is if you identify what that person actually is and how they're actually feeling, how they're actually expressing themselves, how they actually communicate their desires as well. And it's based on expectation.
Right. Because like you said, you may play many roles. I'm a chef. Mm-hmm. I'm a mother. Mm-hmm. I'm a wife. Mm-hmm. I'm a friend. Mm-hmm. Many roles. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to prioritize and be responsible for your roles. Yes. Because you knowing them and knowing you.
Knowing exact, that's key. You have to know who you are in each of those roles.
Exactly.
Because you're a different person, or you have to bring out different characteristics to each role. I hope this is helpful. If it is, push the like button, push the subscribe button.
And the notification
button. So you can get that bell ring every time we post another video. But with that, we want to understand, and I really hope this is assisting someone and strengthening someone.
Comment in the comment section if this is very helpful to you.
So the last part is this. You cannot be everything for everyone. Okay?
Say that again.
If your children are beyond the toddler age, you can't be everything for them anymore. They have to start learning some things on their own so they can start accomplishing things on their own. And I know as a parent it's difficult, and we don't always transfer. No, we don't always transfer that role as parent to the age and the level of the child as they're developing as well.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to trust that they've learned what we've invested in them. Same with your friends, same with your colleagues, same with your intimate others, all of that. Everyone reaches a growth pattern, and they're expected to learn if they've been around you long enough.
Right.
What's that saying that we always say to people that are close to us? You know me. You know how we say that? Mm-hmm. You know me. As though you should have known not to say that. You should have known not to invite me here. You should have known that I was expecting this.
You know what I like to eat.
Exactly. We've been around so long. Mm-hmm. We've been intimate for so long, as close friends, and as far as you and I are concerned, as lovers, as husband, as wife, as partners. We're business partners. We do a lot of things together.
Yes.
So I know you on different levels of each one of those relationships.
Right.
And I'm responsible for each one of those levels of the relationship on the part that I hold, just like you're responsible for those as well. So know your role. If you agree to something, do it.
Because you're responsible for it.
That mirror seems like a small thing, correct? Mm-hmm. But my wife wanted to see herself in the mirror before she left the bedroom. And I got this big, long mirror head to toe so she can see her whole figure, every bit of it.
Because you know what? That mirror is significant because if he doesn't do it when I ask him to, those things keep piling up and piling up and piling up. And it breeds resentment.
Definitely.
So I'm going to say, you constantly doing for other people, you constantly leaving here, and you're not doing stuff for me.
Well, yeah,
and what
you bring
about
up other
us?
stuff.
What about us?
You bring up other stuff, and you wonder, where's this coming from? The other person, right?
Right.
When actually, all you had to do was keep your word. Keep your word. Value your word, because your word has value.